Hi there. This week we are looking at lesson 16 from the book Hill and Others. The lesson is called Cultural Research. Cultural Research. Let's read together the story on page 157 called An Extraordinary Story. John grew up in a Christian home in a large town. His father was a businessman who was also a deacon in the local Baptist church. Peter, on the other hand, had become a Christian through a group of Christians he had met at university. He had grown up in a polygamous household in a small village. His father and his 4 wives had all followed African traditional religious practices. One day, some of Peter's relatives came to visit him at the conference. Unfortunately, Peter had malaria and was in bed with a high fever, so he asked John to entertain his relatives for the evening. After they had all greeted each other and had heard the news about Peter, John gave them something to drink and eat. After that, he explained he would like to share a Bible story he had prepared at the conference with them. They agreed, although a little unwillingly, and John told them the story of the paralytic and the 4 friends. When he got to the end, there was a stupefied silence. Finally, the senior man of the group spoke. "What an extraordinary story!" John took this as a sign that they liked it very much. He taught them a song he had made based on the story. After that, they left to go home, somewhat to John's relief. Peter recovered quickly from his fever, and the following Saturday was able to go and visit his relatives. When he came back, he was chuckling as he told John that his relatives thought that the 4 friends in the story had magically removed the pointed roof of a grass hut and flown their friend inside. They concluded that these friends must have had special powers, and maybe this was why the paralytic was healed. "You really need to know more about our culture," said Peter. "We are learning a lot about Jewish culture, but if we don't know what the ordinary people believe already, then we don't know what they need to know to understand the Bible." "I guess you're right," said John. Okay, and then the group discussion on the next page. Why did Peter's relatives misunderstand this Bible story? Why did Peter's relatives misunderstand the Bible story? Why was John unaware of their problem? Why was John unaware of their problem? Okay, Hill and others write, culture is the ideas, beliefs, and practices that are long-lasting and widely shared by a group of people. I'm going to say that again. Culture is the ideas, beliefs, and practices that are long-lasting and widely shared by a group of people. Thoughts and actions within one culture will be similar, maybe not identical. The challenge is when we face differences between the cultures of 2 audiences, where thoughts and actions are very different. Translators find this when translating the Bible and need to study the culture of the original audience. But they should also study their own culture with care as they translate. You must study your own culture with care as you translate. Remember, as a translator, you have a narrow experience of your own culture, and your work would benefit from your study of your own culture. You can study your culture through observation, interviews, discussions, studying cultural stories, etc. Take notes of your observations and share them with your colleagues, translators, advisors, and consultants. All can learn from this exercise. For studying the culture of the Bible, we are limited to library research, studying out of books and from articles in the Bible itself. We study the culture not so we can imitate it, but so we can understand how to translate and understand the original context. Some examples the book gives of themes that would need further research are ideas about hospitality and greeting guests, roles of slaves and teachers, ideas about witchcraft and clairvoyance. These would fall into larger topics of culture, such as the economic system, the life cycle, the social system, the political system, the religious system. While you're studying, be sure to take note of key word choices. You have an important job as a translator to compare and contrast two cultures, sometimes more than that, and see what is the same and what is different. So, translate the following statement into Swahili and into Karewe. Translators need to compare the first and secondary audiences' cultures and address differences that affect their audience's understanding of Scripture. Translators need to compare the first and secondary audiences' cultures and address differences that affect their audience's understanding of Scripture. For your assignment, I want you to look at page 165 and 166. And then choose someone either from your own culture or from a different culture and interview them using the questions given. So I want each of you to interview somebody from either your own culture or a different culture and get answers to the questions that are given. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.